back up, or am I just rolling? Or we don't? Rolling? Okay. So anyway, how you guys doing?
Great.
You guys good?
Yes.
All right, let's stand up real quick because I feel a little lack of energy here. Okay. Turn to your neighbor on your right. So turn to your right now. Give him a little shoulder massage. Shoulders. Both hands, man. Come on, dude. Don't shortchange him. You're gonna shortchange him. Shoulder massage. Keep it above the waist. Keep it above the waist. Man, get in there, man. I know my straps need a little love. No, okay. All right, turn to your left, other side. All right, there we go. Okay, come on. Hey, don't shortchange your neighbor. Dig a little deeper. in there. All right, karate chop. All right. All right, I want you guys on the count of three. All right, stay standing. On the count of three, we're going to do a 1, 2. No, wait. On the count of three, we're going to say pumped up, fired up, super excited. Yeah! Ready? Super excited. All right, I'm going to say how do you feel, and you say pumped up, fired up, super excited. Ready? How do you feel? Pumped up, fired up, super excited. Yeah! All right, one more time. Pumped up, fired up, super excited. Ready? How do you feel? Pumped up, fired up, super excited. Woo! Okay. So, let's go over some things. First of all, I want to show you guys a couple of quotes. Show you guys a couple things here. You see this? Yeah. Thought this was kind of cool. Someone took like some of the quotes from all the speakers. So Jeff Levitan, the biggest challenges and threats come from within. Isn't that true? Yeah. Fredo Barber, it's not whether or not you're going to go through it, it's whether or not you're going to grow through it. President of WG, serving the needs of others is the only legitimate business. There's no finish line for excellence. Jill Ellis, that was the women's soccer team, coach. Just won 2.
No, for like the whole thing.
That's the whole thing. Yeah, we could airdrop all this stuff. That's okay. I'll go post on the chat. Here, I'll post them on the chat. Okay? Arinder, growth is painful, change is painful, but nothing is as painful as being stuck where you don't belong. Raja, your life is all about the reaction you give to your thoughts. Bristol, don't worry about what man thinks, worry about what God thinks. Winners never quit, quitters never win. We didn't come here to take part, we came here to take over. Steve Holbrook, if you sit on the fence too long, it hurts. Eric Olson, right? Think about that. Some of us still on the fence with this thing. Well, that ain't gonna get you nowhere. It's gonna be painful. You gotta go in. You gotta hop the fence. You gotta, right? Your jobs will make you a live in this business, will give you a life. Dave Boucher, you guys have been, 5 years in the companies, over $1 million a year, 5 years in. Live your life in a way that your values are apparent. Captain Sullenberger. John Pham, it doesn't matter how you start, but how you finish. Right? Yeah. Maybe you're off to a slow start right now. It don't matter. As long as you don't give up, you're going to win. Right? I was having a conversation with CJ, is like, you know, your success journey, right? Like you're going to win here. It's inevitable. The only way you don't is by quitting. It's the only way you don't. You show me, right, what was Ed Milet talking about, the 10-year room?
Mm-hmm.
Right? He goes, they go to convention and it's like, stand over your first time here. He's like, hey, congratulations. But he's like, that's not that big of a deal. You're supposed to come to your first convention. But he's like, are you here on your 10th convention?
He said that's not a good thing, actually.
Think about that. Are you here in your 10th convention? And then what does that room look like? If you took everyone that was there the first year, yeah, it's like, all right, still trying to figure it out. Am I going to do this? Am I not? But 10 year, people that have been doing this for 10 years, most of them are pretty successful, It's a lot different room. Nothing is permanent except your soul. Commitment is freedom, Johanna Mockett. Life gives you what you pray for and what you fight for, Ed Milet. Some days you find motivation, some days motivation finds you. Right, Mario Biona. What was the quote that that I put on Facebook? It was success is hard and being broke is hard. Pick your heart.
Yeah.
We're ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Courage is contagious. I think that's it. Okay. I want to go over something before I go through the battle plan. I want to explain to you guys again, because I know some people, when we were setting goals, and you need to put a plan together for the second half of the year. Okay. One of the things I want to explain though, really fast, is just breaking down points, like how points work. Okay. So like if you do, let's use simple math. If you do a $200 IUL policy, right? You times that times 12, that's $2,400, right? So if this is with Transamerica, right? This is with Transamerica, you're gonna take that $2,400, you're gonna times that by 1.25. That's what it pays out in, that's what the points breakdown is. So can someone who has a calculator, 2,400 times 1.25? 3,000. So that's 3,000 points, okay? But now keep in mind that if you write like a trial app, who knows what a trial app is? Who does not know what a trial app is? Raise your hand high, you do not know what a trial app is. Okay. So let's say you have someone who goes, you know what? This all sounds good, but I don't know if I can get approved because of my health. I take some medications, I have high blood pressure, whatever it is. When you go to submit the policy, you don't collect the $200, you don't draft the $200, okay? You wait for the policy to get approved, you submit the policy, what's called on trial, so it says cash with application, you put 0, okay? When the policy gets approved, then they will draft the 200, and then when you deliver it, you'll get the full 3,000 points on the back end, okay? Now, let's say I'm sitting down with Zach, and shoot, I think Zach, you got your IUL, and you got approved in like a week, or less than a week, right? And, Ricky Boyles, I submitted on Saturday, and he got approved Tuesday, right? So policies that are clean, they get approved right away. If you have medical issues, it could take months. It could take months sometimes, unfortunately, right? We want to get everyone approved, but sometimes it takes longer than others. So in Zach's case, I submitted it with cash with application. So what happens is if I submit this policy at $200 with the application, so it says cash with application, yes, $200, then you're going to get 40% of the points up front, what's called first advance. Okay? When the policy is approved and you deliver it, you're going to get the second advance points. Now, points is going to be equivalent to dollars. So 40% of the 3,000 is how much? What's 40% of 3,000?
1,200.
So when you submit that policy, you're going to get 1,200 points. So if you do, let's say, 5 policies like this in a month, you're not going to say as a goal, like let's say you're like, I can do 5 of these a month. Well, you can't say 15,000 that month because you're only going to get 1,200 out of the 3,000 up front. So if you take 12,000 times 5, 1,200 times 5 times 5 policies, that would equal how much?
6,000.
6,000. So that'd be so if you did 5 of these a month on the first advance, it'd be 6,000 points up front. Okay. Now on the back end, what's 60% of 3,000? 1,800, okay, obviously, right? So 1,800. So then you get 1,800 when the policy gets approved, and then when those 5 policies get approved, what's 1,800 times 5? 9,000? Makes sense, right? It's 15,000 minus, yeah, like that. So now you got 6,000, or you got 6,000 points up front, 9,000 on the back end. So it takes a month for your points to kick in from the ones you're writing on the front end, and then the ones that you're delivering on the back end. So maybe the first month you're like, well, I want to do 15,000 points a month, but the first month is going to be only 6. But then once you do that the second month, you'll get the full 15 because you'll be getting the 6 on the first ones, the new ones, and then you'll be getting the 9,000 on the 5 from the month before. They're now getting approved. So you could say, hey, I'm gonna do 15,000 points a month, but just understand, if you don't have anything coming from the month before, you're only gonna get 40% up front because you're gonna get the other 60 the next month on the back end. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yes.
So the reason why I explain this is that when you're setting your goals, you're like, I'm gonna do 20,000 points. If you don't have anything from the month before, you have to understand that if you write 20,000, you're only gonna get, right? You're only gonna get 8,000 up front and the other 12,000 on the second advance delivery. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, do you know how to calculate your commissions based off of this?
Times your contract.
Okay, so let's do this again. So points is 1.25, but commissions goes off of this, goes off the 2,400. So if you're a training associate, you're at a what percent? 30, right? What's 30% of 2,400? 720, right? So you're gonna make $720. Or wait, are you? No, how much are you really gonna make?
288.
How much?
288.
288. And then on the delivery?
It's the other half.
432.
432. Keep your calculators out, you guys. So check this out. You need to know your numbers. So if you don't have a calculator out right now, you need to get a calculator out right now, okay? All right. So now, if you go from training associate, which by the way, how long do you want to stay there? Are there any training associates still in here? Who's still training associate? All right, let's go, you guys, let's go. It's this month. All right, it's this month. So now you go to associate, watch the jump. You jump to 45%. Well, that 45% jump is a 50% increase in pay. Your 3 recruits and 3 training sales or 3 sales split or whatever if you're already licensed, whatever it is, you're 3 and 3 away from a 50% jump in pay. That means if you were making $15 an hour at your job, it'd be your job going, hey, we're gonna jump your pay from $15 an hour up to $22.50. Does that happen very often at a job?
Nope.
Probably very slim to none, right? I met a lady, I was doing a one-on-one, a lady got a 10-cent raise. A 10-cent raise at Starbucks.
Hey, the biggest raise I ever got at Costco was 25 cents.
I got a nickel when I worked for a dentist.
It's unbelievable. I was like 10 cents. I'm like, wait. So let me do the math here. 10 cents. 10 cents. All right, so keep in mind, Starbucks is how much? $5 for a coffee, for a cup of coffee? So you're paying $5 for a coffee and sugar, and they make it like a dessert, right? But it's, let's just say it's $4. A 10-cent raise at full time, 40 hours, is a $4 increase in pay for the week. It barely even covers the cup of coffee.
You'll get that taken out in taxes.
And then taxes. But you get it, okay, so 50%. So what's 45% of 2,400?
1080.
1080. So same policy, same work. CJ, right? Same work here. Do you want to make 720 or do you want to make 1,080?
1,080.
Check this out. Did you know, and I don't want to put you up against your upline, but check this out. Did you know this? Did you know that when you stay at training associate, that your upline makes the difference?
Yep.
Makes that 360. You're just giving it to them. You're just giving it to them. You go write this policy, they're making half as much as you did, and they didn't even have to write it. Because they brought you in. Do they deserve it? Absolutely. They brought you in. They dealt with your fast start. They dealt with, you know, getting you back, coming back to the meeting and helping you get licensed and get you trained and, right, keeping you motivated, keeping you coming to the BPM. So they earn it. But here's the thing, you just go earn your promotion and now you're at the, you know, now we pay you directly 1,080. Make sense?
Yes.
And then you break down the same thing, so it's 40%.
432.
432.
Okay, 432. Back end,
648.
648. Okay? Now we go to senior. Who's gonna go hit 10 and 10? Okay, 4 or 5 people. Okay? So 10 and 10, you jump to 55%. What's the contract, or what's the pay there?
1320.
1320. You guys are already doing the math and getting ahead. Awesome. Okay, what's 40%?
528.
528. It's back end.
792.
792. Okay, we'll go MD. So MD is how much? 62%? How much is this?
1488.
1488. Okay, 40%, 60%, how much?
595.
595,
892.
892. So check this out. I want you guys to check this out for a second. If you go do, let's just say you went psycho with this. You're like, I'm gonna go write 10 policies in a month. And you're an MD contract. That's 5,900 on the front end. That's 6 grand. You do 10 of these policies in a month, that's 6 grand on the front end. Well, what's on the back end the next month? 8,900. Well, what if you do 2 months, you go back to back, or you do 10 policies every month? That's 13, that's 14,870. Making 15 grand a month doing 10 policies a month. That's doing two IUL policies a week, give or take. 2 to 3 IUL policies a week. You make 15 grand a month as an MD. By the way, that's not even counting your overrides on agents doing the same thing. Or let's say, example I use when I do my one-on-ones is, let's say you're here, and you have, you're here, and then you have an associate who's here. The difference in pay is how much? $400?
$80. 408.
$408, so $400. So let's say you have 3 agents that do 1 a week. Right? That's 400 times 3, that's what, $1,200 a week? So you have 3 agents that just do 1 a week, and you're an MD and they're an associate. 3 agents that do 1 a week. That's an extra $1,200 a week. That's an extra 5 grand a month. Not to mention the fact that you're making how much?
Almost 15 G's a month.
I mean, you're doing your 10, let's say you're making your 15, and then you got another 5 coming from override.
20
With
G's a month.
a team of a whopping 3. Now you're making 20 grand a month. You and 3 people. Right? So it's like, hey, I'm gonna get my watch like in 12 months. No, let's do it in the next like 90 days. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Any questions on points? So now do you guys get points and commissions a little bit? So now when you're setting your goals, all right, I'm gonna do 10,000 points. Okay, cool. You're gonna get 4 on the front end, 6 on the back end, right? So you just understand the breakdown, okay? Now, there's also a thing called annuities, right? A rollover. So let's say you sit down with someone and they go, you know what, I have an old 401k. Let's say the rollover, let's use simple math, let's say it's 100,000, and we're gonna use 6%, okay? That's the payout to the company. So that's 6,000 points. So you go roll over 100,000, you're gonna make you're gonna earn 6,000 points. And with this, when you roll that money over, you get the points up front. You get everything up front, boom. Right? Well, not up front, but when the money, when it hits.
When it transfers.
When it transfers over in the cycle that it pays out. You get the full 6,000 points. Now, what's your contract on these?
25.
What's a training associate?
25%.
25. It's an associate. 35. Senior? 45. MD? 50. SMD?
65.
65. So you take your contract. All right, I'm at a 50% contract. On the MD,
3,000
made
bucks.
$3,000. Made $3,000. Okay? Well, Nick, what if it's $1 million? Right, what if I add a zero? Well, then add a zero here, it's gonna pay you $30,000. You go roll over $1 million? Would the guy make 600 grand in one, 600,000 in one pay cycle?
Yep.
Kevin Lynn? 600,000 on one direct deposit.
Got his ring.
Is that SMD?
What was it?
It was $1 million. It was $1 million premium IUL.
That was the annual target?
Yeah.
Annual target million, IUL. Paid them 664,000. So basically 65%.
Yep.
It was a trial app, you guys, okay? All right? You don't wanna get the advance on that. I mean, the company would never pay an advance on the policy that big.
No, they wouldn't.
Because, you know,
People would do that all day
there's weird
long.
people out there. But I want you to think big. Like, don't think like, man, people can only save $100. Man, shoot, there's people saving $500, $1,000. People that spend more money at the bar, and then they're like, I can only save $100. Man, you just spent $100 last night or tonight on Taco Tuesday. Tell me you can only save $100, right? Let me guess, you spend $100 eating tacos every week for the whole month for 30 years, and all of a sudden you're gonna be able to stop working and live off those tacos? And live off those tequila shots? No. That money, it's like flushing the money down the toilet. So people can save. You gotta make sure that you're convicted on it, that you're saving your own money. Because when you're saving money, it's easy for you to go, look, I'm doing this thing, you need to save. Right? The bigger the more money you're saving, the more money you'll get your clients to save too. There's a psychology behind that. There's a psychology behind that like no other. Like, oh, I'm doing $100. Well, then you're gonna get $100 policies. And that's no knock, it is what it is. Once you go, all right, I need to bump mine up to like 200-300, then you'll start getting 200-300. Because you're like, if I can do it, so can someone else, right? Make sense?
Yes.
Questions on points or commissions? You guys get it? So then you could, you break it down, have fun with this stuff. One of the things I learned from Ed Milet early on in the business was you gotta sell yourself the dream. You gotta go through, okay, if I write 30,000, if my team does 10,000, if I write this much, my team writes this much, and we do that for 3 months, how much could I make? How fast can I get my ring? How quick can I get my watch? Right? Because you know your numbers. Now it's just plugging in, okay, hey, I know I got to do this amount of appointments to write this much in sales, and then this is how much I'm gonna get paid. And then, man, what if I get promoted? Oh man, let me redo the numbers at that contract. I gotta get to senior. I gotta get to MD because that's gonna increase my pay on the points that I plan on writing. That's gonna increase my pay another $4,000 a month. Like what? Yeah, got a $4,000 a month raise because I got a promotion, right? Man, I can't wait for you guys to get a big direct deposit because I know social media and stuff like that. You go, you get a $12,000 cycle, and then you put that up there like, hey, yeah, my little part-time job, yeah. All the people that told me to go get a real job, boom, you throw that post up there. Like, hey, everyone that said I should get a real job, look at my cycle. We get 8 pay cycles like this a month. Here was one of them. Boom. You know what I mean? Just start stockpiling appointments and referrals and clients and everyone, right? It's leave no stone unturned, okay? Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so now let's go through this. Right? Let's go through this. Here we go. Okay, so what are we gonna do? This is what we're gonna do the next 5 months. We're gonna do the next 5 months right here, okay? Next 5 months. So this is August through December, okay? So if you're in the base shop, we plan on doing 125 recruits in the base shop, okay? That's an average of 25 a month. Now some of you guys are like, I'm gonna do 10. Well, great, but okay, so do 10. and then we'll exceed this number. But we're gonna do at least 25 a month, okay? And then base points 375 for the 5 months, okay? Now, do you guys know what base shop is? If you're not an SMD in here, then you're probably in my base shop. You're in the base shop, okay? Super base. Do you guys know what super base is?
Yes.
So super base, let me kind of break this down for you guys so you guys know what we're talking about. Whenever you look at a plan like this, you gotta look at what's gonna be your contribution over the next 5 months towards this plan, right? Okay. So if here's the SMD, right? And the SMD has a base shop. The base shop is like training associates, maybe an MD who has an associate or whatever, you know, another associate here who has an associate or whatever the case may be, right? Associate who has a training associate, another MD, you know, a senior associate, you know, another senior associate. I think I just drew out the base shop picture, right? No, seriously. And then you got associates. So this is like Arthur and CJ. This is like we got Zach, you know, Zach and Carlos. We got Lupe. We got Rosario. We got Matt and Anthony. You know, we got Ramon's an MD too. Andronette, who would be an associate, who has Rhonda, etc. Right? So that's your base shop. Okay? That's base shop. Super base is now this. So now you have an SMD who's under an SMD. Right? So this is like Alex and Didi, right? This is Reggie. And then them and their teams. So this all becomes super base. So whatever their base shop is doing, right? Whatever their base shop and all the people in their base shop, whatever they're producing, plus the base shop, plus the team dominate base, all of this becomes a super base. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So this is what's called first generation. This is first generation SMD. That's first generation is super base every single time. Now, what happens when an SMD promotes an SMD? Now this becomes second generation, and that is now super team. Okay, so this is always super base, super base, super base. Anything 2 all the way down through 6 of all SMD, all the way 3, 4, 5, 6 is all super team. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You don't have to worry about that right now, but so super base, okay? So super base, we double the numbers. So another 25 a month from the super base, okay? Now, can we exceed these? Yes. I haven't even really discussed this with the SMDs yet. I threw this together just based on leaving convention, but I think we can exceed these numbers, right? I think we could smash these numbers, really. Super base points, we put 750, that's 3,000 points per recruit. You know, and when you break it down, you know, every recruit should equal about 3,000. You know, you have some people that are gonna sign up and quit, and then you have people that are gonna go out in the field and write business or become clients and et cetera, right? So 1 recruit per 3,000 is a pretty good ratio, okay? So when you understand business, you understand WG, that's equivalent to 3,000 points per recruit, okay? New licensed agents, 50. So how many are you gonna have? How many licensed people on your team are you gonna have in the next, 4 months, 5 months? Right, so we're saying 10 new licensed agents a month, and that's counting August. Right, I think we got 1, right? You passed in August, right? So we have 1 so far, 49 to go. We're gonna be tracking this stuff, right? Who else is gonna get licensed? I think Rhonda might have got licensed in July. But Rosario will be the next one, right? Ricky Boyles takes his test tomorrow, another one of my directs. He takes his test tomorrow at 1:30. So it could be, we could have Ricky Boyles 2, Rosario 3, and now 47, 46, 40, all the way down. We want to have 50 new licensed agents by the end of the year. And again, I think we can beat that, but it's still still a pretty healthy number. If you really think of it, that's still a good number. But if all of you guys all committed to like 3 to 5, shoot, we blow that out of the water. I mean, think about it. If Zach got 5 new licenses, if Reggie got 10 or 15 new, we should do 100, but nothing less than 50. Make sense?
Yes.
Just even as I'm going through this, I'm like, I should probably shoot for 100. As I'm going through this, I'm like, maybe 250 recruits next 5 months isn't enough. That's 50 a month though. That's still rocking. That's still rocking, even as a super base. That's still a decent number, okay? We'll get to 100 in the super base, but you know, we gotta at least start somewhere, right? New MD promotions, I said 6 new MD promotions, right? So if you're not an MD, we pretty much put you on the list to hit MD, right? You know, Rosario says she plans on hitting MD, you know, Zach plans on hitting MD, you know, right? Andronette plans on hitting MD, right? Etc., right? New SMD promotions, 3, right? Can you build up, you know, 25 people and 50,000 cash flow and get an MD underneath you, right? Right, we hold SMD to a high standard, but we want to promote 3 SMDs by the end of the year. You got to see yourself doing this stuff, right? New watch earners, right? New watch earners, we have 5. So you haven't earned your $50,000 watch yet. We're going to promote 5 new $50,000 earners, right? So you got to ask yourself, as you look at this plan, it's like, what's going to be my goal within it, right? And if I took everyone's goals individually and all added it up, it'd be like 40,000 recruits, and you know what I mean? It's like, you can't do that, right? I mean, we can, but I'm not going to put that in the plan because people will exaggerate or whatever, and I'm going to do it, and okay, cool, and you do 0, and it's like, well, man, you threw off my numbers. So, right? But we're gonna throw some stuff together, and then now you go, okay, well, shoot. You know what? There might be a superstar in here that goes, I'm going to commit to I'm going to do 25% of some of these categories. Okay, cool. Just by myself, but between me and my team. Awesome, do it. And then guess what? You'll be picking up the slack for the people that say they're going to do something and do nothing at all. Don't let that be you, but you know, just understand that, you know, it's the nature of the business, right? Okay. So new ring earners 5, or new watch earners 5, new ring earners 3. New ring earners 3. Matt? Reggie?
Yep.
Right? Hawaii qualifiers, 3.
What does it take to get a watch?
$50,000.
And then what does it take to get a ring?
100,000. 12-month period. You don't have, it doesn't have to take you 12 months, but you just got to do it within a 12-month period. Okay? So who plans on getting a watch? By show of hands, who plans on getting a watch? Okay, there we go. Okay, what about a ring? At 5 months. That's 20. So if you're at 0, that's 20 grand a month, counting August. You know what I mean? So we got work to do, right? We got some work to do. Hawaii qualifiers 3. You know that we're 2 months into Hawaii contest. We still got August and 3 months to go after that. You can still qualify for Hawaii. How big are you thinking? You know where they're going this year? To an island I've never even been. I've been to Hawaii 11 times, and I haven't even been to the main Oahu. They're going to Oahu for the first time, ever, pretty much. And I've never been. I've been to Maui 3 or 4 times. I've been to Kona 3 or 4 times, and I've been to Kauai 3 or 4 times. Because that's, the company used to just do the Big Island, then Maui, then the Big Island, Kauai, then the Big Island, then Maui. It would just go Big Island and then da-da-da, et cetera. Now they're going to Oahu, which is awesome. And we wanna go with the team. We wanna go with some teammates. Okay? If you don't know what it takes to go to Hawaii, you need 220,000 points between June through November 30th. Okay, so if you already got points on the board, you got a shot at this thing. If your code number is new this year, if you do 100,000, well, they're taking the top 5, it's 100,000 points minimum. But if your code number is new this year, they're taking the top 5 new agents that put up the most production. They're going to take 5 new agents. That's 100,000 minimum points, okay? Wealth Bowl attendance, 75 people in the base shop. Really the goal is 100, but I have 75 on there. I really want to take 100 people in the base. And then super base, 150 people. So I think we had 36 people at, super base at convention. And so, we want to quadruple that number. And I think we can do it. Because there's quite a few people that didn't go that probably should have. And then, everyone that we build moving forward. So we plan on having a huge explosion the next 4 months and going to Wealth Bowl. Really, we're 90 days away, we're about 3.5 months away from multiple, okay? And then Elite Academy graduates, 10, okay? And then new BBC members, so this is, if you hit 10 recruits in a month, we have 10 new people hitting BBC numbers too, okay? So what's the focus? 3-3-30, 10-10-30, right? One of the things that I want to make an emphasis on is if you're brand new, run for 10, man. Even if you fall short, you're going to hit 3-3 and you're going to get promoted. But run for 10-10. Stretch your mind. They say once your vision is stretched, it will never return to its original size ever again. So if you're going to think anyways, right, you might as well think big. It's the same mental capacity. It's the same mental energy, right? To think big, right? Let me ask you a question. You know at least 10 people that want to make more money, provide for their family, build a family legacy, own their own business, right? Make a lot more money. We all know at least 10 people, don't we? Think about it. People are dissatisfied. People want to make part-time income, looking for a career change, whatever it is. So it's being strategic and getting guests down, setting up one-on-ones. Should even meet with them for a cup of coffee at Starbucks. I'll go meet with you, and I'll help you build your team. You can give me a number. It could be someone out of state, right? I've called people out of state and coded people and got them licensed and flew out there and got them trained. Out of state, you guys. Like, we're willing to do whatever it takes. It's just, are you willing to do whatever it takes? Right? Have you heard it said before? It's like, you know, you got to do whatever it takes. Or, I forgot how the quote says. It says, it's going to take everything you got. What is it? You have what it takes, but you got what it takes, but it's going to take everything you got. You know what I mean? You got what it takes, but it's going to take everything you got. Okay? So you go to convention, you see people winning. They're paying a price. They're getting results. They're doing the work that it takes to win. And I was on a conference call on a Sunday night with Eric Gemelita's team, and one of the things I was telling them is that there's a success formula, right? You guys have maybe heard me say this before, but every person in WFG, once you get a code number, like how long it takes you to become an SMD or a ring earner, whatever it is, there's a formula. There's a recipe. You ever notice how two different people can go to the same BPMs, right? Learn the same scripts, right? But maybe different market, or maybe someone has a great market, does nothing with it. Someone has no market and goes and builds a market through prospecting or whatever. Finds a rabbit or gets lucky or puts in a lot of work, runs big numbers, whatever it is. But you notice how some people make it real big fast and other people it takes years? There's a success formula. You ever notice how the successful people make it look really easy? And then there's people that haven't figured it out yet that make it look really hard. Right? There's someone who's in the business 10 years in the base shop, and there's someone who hits SMD in 6 months. There's a success formula. Every single one of you, there is a formula. It's what's gonna work for you. You have to find what works for you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You have to find what works for you. Is that gonna take some trial and error? Yes. Is it just you go, hey, well maybe, I don't know, I'm running the numbers, or I learned the scripts, but it's not working. No, you gotta constantly revise what you're doing. You can't let weeks or months go by and you're like, I'm doing the work, I'm not getting the result. Well then let's look at what work you're actually doing and let's make the adjustment to where we increase your ratios, your results. And I made 1,000 calls, and I only got 2 code numbers. Well, we need to figure this thing out. We gotta get you to where you're making 50 calls and getting 2 code numbers. You know what I mean? Or I'm using that as an example. But you got to know your numbers, and you got to increase your consistency with that, and you'll start getting results faster. But you have to figure it out, right? Because this is worth all the marbles. So 3-3-30, 10-10-30, field training fanatics, meaning more of us in the field on a nightly basis. Like every night. Like at the close of the night, you should be reporting your activity or result on WeChat. And so every night, not saying everyone's got to get result every single night. Once you get good, you can get results daily, right? I know that's Reggie. Reggie's like, shoot, I'm getting results every day, man. I'm in the game. I want to get a result every single day. That's my mindset. Does it happen? Not every single day, but I want to get results every single day. But here's the thing, collectively as a team, every single night there should be someone on the chat going, hey, I got a new business partner. Hey, I just wrote 2,500 points. Or hey, I just did this. Or hey, someone passed the test. Every day the business should be growing, especially amongst all of us. Every day there should be activity and result. You're not getting a result, post your activity. Let us know you're doing something. Let us know. Guess what? When you don't post anything, guess what we think? Guess what the team thinks? You're not doing anything. And how do we know? Because when you do finally get a result, you post it. So we're like, well, what about the other 29 days of the month? Right? Think about that. And hey, that's awesome. Hey, you got a new recruit, you got an app, and it was the one that you got that month, better than finishing with 0. Man, I don't ever let a month go by with 0. Never. 15 years, never had a 0 in any month. You can look at all my stuff. Never finished with 0s. There might have been a month where I didn't get a recruit, but if I didn't get a recruit, I wrote points that month. Best believe. Every single month. It's called consistency. If you want to win in business, you got to be consistent. You got to win in anything, you got to be consistent. Right? You want to get ahead in life, you got to be consistent, right? So, field training is where you make money. We don't get paid to recruit. If I recruit Anthony, I don't get paid to code him. But I get paid if we go out and help his family and friends and build him a referral market, right? Build his team through people he knows that want to make more money. And then get him good and get him licensed. And now when he goes and produces and he becomes a field trainer, now I'm collecting an override off everything he does for the rest of his career. Now you go build 7 to 10 people like that and you can become financially independent. You just need to become a field trainer and build a few field trainers, and you're making enough money to buy the house, start the family, save money, invest, control your time, control your, have lifestyle, etc. Right? We're almost. Let me finish this. Okay. What else is a focus? Building new leaders. That means, rising up at, we need more of you guys at pregame, at the pregame meeting. Who's gonna do tours? Who's gonna speak? Who's gonna teach a class? Who's gonna break the floor? Right? Who's gonna do recognition? Right? We need more, right? We need the next wave of committed people to say, hey, I'm in this thing to win it. I wanna learn how to run an office. When I was trained up in Pomona, the same way that I trained these guys in Temecula before they opened up their own office, it's duplication. It's knowing all the duties in the office and how a BPM is structured so that when you become an SMD and you start building a team and building a base shop, that you could take that base shop or you take that team and open up your own office or partner up with a few SMDs and go do something magical. Man, it's freaking awesome. I remember I went down, so I recruited these guys. We were down, I had people coming from Murrieta and San Jacinto, I think it was. San Jacinto, Hemet area. And there was like 7 of us when we opened up that suite next to Danny Kravitz. It's 7 of us. It was me, it was Jesus, it was Ernesto Gomez, it was Maria Chiarte, and it was like a couple of people. And then we built that up to like 50 people pretty fast. Pretty fast, and we outgrew that suite, remember? We outgrew that suite, I had to break the lease, and we opened up Temecula, we opened up an even bigger office. Then we got that office up to 120, 130 people at the BPM. Right? You guys don't realize like how good this can get. Ed Milet shows up to our office. Ed Milet came and spoke at the office. Didn't we have Penny Oy come and speak at the office?
Yeah.
Guys, like the people you just heard on stage at convention used to come to our office in Temecula. Like it was like a sight to be seen. Like people were like, dude, what are these guys doing? Like Penny Oy's like in our office, like training us. Ed Milet walks in, and Ed is just a big thinker. He goes, this office ain't big enough. We just signed a lease. It was a 5,000 square foot office. Right? There's like 8 offices in there. He's like, this office ain't big enough to support what you guys are gonna go do. I'm like, crap, we just signed like a 3-year commitment. But man, that thing was hot and heavy in there, man. It was like a club with no drinks, Red used to say, right? We had a separate room. We had a separate room just like this. It was just Mozone.
You needed new shirts every week.
And it was hot in
Yeah,
there.
you had to have your shirt dry cleaned every week, man. And this thing was packed. Meeting, like bringing a guest to another agent that's across the way is like, you might get there by the time they broke the floor. It was insane, man. Everyone, you had to have mints. You had to have mints. You had to have deodorant. You had to have cologne. Like, it was very, very important. Because everyone was like, in your face.
You lost some weight too.
You lost some weight. Yeah, we were building champions, man. We were building champions. Lean, mean recruiting machines. Right? So building new leaders, big teams, taproot. You guys know what taprooting is?
Yes.
Taprooting is when you bring someone in and then immediately you go, we got to get someone underneath you. So it's like, Bryce, we got to find you a teammate, dude. That's taprooting you. Zach, we got to taproot you. Right? You got Carlos. Okay, so how do we taproot you? All right, so Zach has Carlos, now we got to get someone underneath Carlos. We start to build what's called a leg. So you want to taproot legs. A leg is 4 deep. Right? A leg is 4 deep. Anthony, we got to get someone underneath Anthony. So let's say we have Matt, we have Anthony, we got to get someone underneath Anthony. And then that person got to get someone underneath them. When you build a leg 4 deep, you'll find one of these guys will become an S&D. One of these will become a leader. They say every 4 deep, you usually find a leader. So taprooting. Right? Ramon, we got to taproot you, dude. We got to go deep. We got to go deep in a leg. BBC is Bay Shop Builders Club. That's you hitting your 3 directs and you hitting your 10 team. That's how you'll start by taprooting, you'll hit BBC. Because if you don't taproot, you're like, hit BBC 10, I got to do 10 directs. Like, no, it's not 10 directs. It's you hitting 5, maybe 5, 30. We should throw in the middle there. But then you taproot, if you go recruit 5 and all 5 of your recruits each just get 1, then now you got 10. But all you did was 5. You probably helped those 5 get their 5, right? Like, you guys don't see all the recruiting that I actually do because it's like, if I recruit someone for you, it's your recruit. But it's like, I did the one-on-one and helped you code them, right? So you as the leader, you're gonna do a lot of the recruiting and some will be directs, some will be this direct, but then others will be part of your team to hit BBC and taproot the team, right? And then obviously Elite Academy focused. We want to push everyone through Elite Academy and really build you up to become a trainer and become competitive. You want to know why the leaders are competitive? They go through Elite Academy. You want to increase your competitiveness? Elite Academy. It's also a reason why some people are scared to go through it again sometimes. They're like, man, I got to compete again. Like, yeah, that's exactly what you need. Think about it. The biggest people in the company are the most competitive people. So don't shy away from what's really best for you and your business. You got to attack it head on, right? And then pumped up, fired up, super excited. Right? Pumped up, fired up, super excited. Right?
I'm putting that in my Instagram bio.
Pumped up, fired up, super excited. Put that in your put that in your profile. So anyway, we are gonna we have like 10 more minutes. So I'm gonna have Anissa come up and she's gonna do an example, like a compensation example. Show you guys like she has a certain system, little method that she has. It's pretty cool. Okay, I want you to write it all down so that you can use this with your team, or it kind of can paint a picture for you of what how you can start to get this thing going. So if you guys can give Anissa a big round of applause, please.
You took off.
He said he's had a migraine.
So at convention, the whole time they were saying recruit, go wide, go deep, recruit, go. The whole thing was recruit, right? So the people with the biggest team make the most money in anything that you do, literally anything. Who do you think makes more money, LeBron James or the owner of the Lakers? The owner of the Lakers. They have the team, right? LeBron James is just one person. So if I'm a personal producer, I'm a great personal producer, and Bryce is half as good as me, and then he has people under him, 10 people under him that are half as good as him, he's gonna end up making more money than me, just because he has a team. So, Nick showed you guys that, so the average premium for a policy, company-wide, is $200. So we all remember how to calculate points and commissions, right? So 200 times 12 months equals 2,400. So if you're part-time, you should be doing this once a week, 4 policies a month. That's, you come to BPM, you go BPMs, you go to appointments, 1 to 2, and you're gonna close a policy. So 4 is the target market, or the target. So I'm gonna use Carlos. So if you write 4 policies worth 200 points, that's about $9,600. We're gonna use, $9,600, 100 points. So we're gonna use 10,000 points just for easy math. So Carlos is an MD at 62%. So if Carlos, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if Carlos writes 10,000 points, what's 62% of 10,000? So he made $6,200. So Carlos, give me 4 people that you know that you think would be good at this business.
Adrian. Juan. Oh, he's not here no more, but he was.
Okay.
My sister, Vanessa.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin, Armando.
So if I taught you everything I can do you think you can end up teaching somebody else? Yeah, right? So, in this case, Adrian is a training associate at 30%. Juan is an associate at 45%. Vanessa is a senior associate at 55%. And Armando is an associate at 45%. So they all did exactly what you did. They wrote 10,000 points. So Adrian, 30% of 10,000, he made $3,000. Juan made 4,500. Vanessa made 5,500. And Armando made 4,500. So you see that there's a contract difference here, right? So with Adrian, there's a 32% contract difference. So no matter what, the company's gonna pay out 80% to the field. They're not gonna see this anyways. You're not taking anything from your downline. You brought them in, you're training them, you taught them to make money for themselves, so you get that override. This promotion is up to them, completely. You're not holding them back from anything. So you get the contract difference. So with Adrian, it's 32%. With Juan, it's 17%. With Vanessa, it's 7%. And Armando, it's 17%. So any questions about that part? Yeah. Okay. So that means Adrian went to write 10,000 points. You taught him how to do it. You weren't there. You were watching a football game. You were on your own appointment. You were doing whatever you do. And you made $3,200. Juan did the same thing. You made $1,700. Vanessa, you made $700. And Armando, you made $1,700. So for this month, off of your own pen, you made $6,200. This is personal. which isn't too bad. I mean, I'd be okay making $6,000, right? Even part-time. So, off of, because you brought these people and recruited them, trained them, you made $7,800, and that's agency income. So you made more from your team than you did off of your personal spend. So the person who has the biggest team makes the most money. So in this month you made $14,000 in 1 month. So even how Nick was saying that it's the 40 and the 60, you're doing this every month. So it ends up adding up to 14,000 still. And then, I mean, that's your ring. That's bigger than your ring. So, I mean, and then at the same time, you're bringing on new people, so there's gonna be more and more and more and more and more, and then this person's gonna quit, but then somebody's gonna come in over here. So imagine being an SMD, and you have an SMD that makes $100,000. What, you have 4 SMDs that have their ring. Like, this is basic, this is a base shop. Like, there's so much bigger than that.
So if you're SMD and then you have SMDs, you don't get the override.
You
Yes.
do.
You do. So it's
It's a little different.
Yeah.
Explain
So
that.
once you're out of the base shop, so here, like if Adrian's gonna go and be an MD, that you have the points, but you lose the override. So you never want your team to pass you up. But if you are an SMD, so Nick's an SMD with an SMD, it's an
17% with Transamerica.
There you go.
So Andrew, so basically, if Alex and Edie's base shop go do 100,000 base shop points, you get a 17% royalty or override on their base shop.
So really, the companies pay more than 80% to the field, but basic, they pay 80% to the field. But yeah. Any questions? Okay. Anything?
Yeah, sure. Give her a hand. Did you guys see how she broke this down?
Yes.
Like, did you really pay attention to it? Yeah, it's good, and it's simple when you use 10,000 because it's so easy to see, right? You're an MD at 62%, you write 10,000, $6,200. Right, you override 32% of 10,000, you made $3,200 in override that month. Pretty cool, right?
Yes.
Has everyone got this? Okay.
Yeah.
So when she was asking about SMD, let me show you something really quick. So, and the magic number is 4, it's 1 a week. I mean, that's a pretty consistent number. If you do that over your course of your career, you're gonna do really, really well. Obviously, you can do more than that. You can do 10 in a month, but 4 consistently a month is a pretty steady pace. And a good number to go off of. So, Andrewnette was asking about an SMD. So SMD is at 80%, right? So here's an SMD, and then now that SMD has an SMD. Okay? The first generation override is 17%. So let's say this SMD, the base shop, the whole team here does 100,000. Okay? Now, if a certain number is personal, let's just say it's all override. What's the average override on a base shop?
30%.
So you have training associates at 30 all the way up to 62. So at 62, you're overriding 18, and at 30, overriding 50. So average override is about 30%. Okay? Because you're gonna have, your more MDs probably doing more of the load than your training associates, but associates, senior in the middle, so it's about 30%. Let's just, right? So a 30% override on 100,000 is how much?
30 G's.
30 grand. So if you're an SMD and you do 100,000 points, that's 30 grand. Now, what if you have an SMD? So let's say this SMD does 100,000. Now, what'd you make on this base shop?
17 grand.
17 grand, right, override. So now you made 47,000 that month. That's just you as an SMD doing 100,000 base shop, and then the SMD underneath you doing 100,000.
Not
Well, what if you got another SMD that does the same, or does half, et cetera, it starts to add up. Or what if out of the 100,000, you did 30,000 personal at 80%, that's gonna bump that up. Cause you're not just getting a 30% override, now you did a third of the points you did personally, it's gonna jump that number up also, okay? I want you guys to start thinking huge, start thinking big. Like someone in here is gonna go make 50 grand in a month. Might not happen this month or next month, but you know, you gotta have your target set on something. Like, man, I just wanna make 10 grand. Okay, let's map this thing out. How are you gonna go make 10 grand? What do you gotta do to make $10,000? Well, I'm at 45%. Okay, let's do the math. You wanna go make 10 grand, you gotta do what, 20,000 points? Right, at 45%, if you're at 45%, you gotta do what, 18,000, give or take? You know, or 45, yeah, whatever it is, right? Less than half, so it's 20,000 would be 10, so, or 9, or whatever it is. So you have to do a little over 22,000 points, 23,000 points, you'll make 10 grand a month. If you've never made 10 grand in a month, you gotta try it. It's fun. You ever made 20 grand in a month, you gotta try it. It's fun. And it sets a whole new standard too. You make 10 grand in a month, you're like, okay, now you know what it took to get there. You won't ever go back to a job again. You're like, my job's gonna pay me like 3 grand when I just made 10 grand last month. And here's the thing, you gotta have a short memory. You have to have a short memory. Like sometimes, you know, things aren't gonna go your way. You can't get discouraged and go, that's the way it's always gonna be. You know, there's gonna be times where you have a bad month. And you can't go, oh man, this doesn't work out, a bad month. Man, it's a bad month. You know, like in sports, even the championship teams have a bad game. It doesn't, you know, because I like to consider every month as like a new game. That's why you gotta compete all the way to the last day of the month to put up numbers. Because you're contributing to a base shop. By the way, your SMDs, which would be me, Reggie, right? Like us SMDs, we're competing with other SMDs. There's challenges. I mean, we get into SMD meetings, and they're like, all right, who wants to challenge? And then people are like, hey, we're taking you out. And I'm like, crap. And then, you know, I don't tell you guys because I don't want, you know, I don't want to tell you, hey, fight for the base shop. But, you know, there's things that are happening, and you're part of a team. You know, you don't realize it, but there's more. You know, we expect everyone to contribute. You know, I mean, not only should you be doing it you should be doing it for yourself first and foremost, but also for the sake of the team. Like, you know, like in sports. Every player feels they have to contribute, right? If someone comes up, whether you come off the bench or you're a starter, hey, you got to get a couple rebounds, you got to make a couple shots or whatever it is. We want everyone to do their part to make this thing really run. And if we're going to hit these goals, you know, it's going to be a collective effort. You know what I mean? So, super excited, pumped up, fired up, super excited, right, Reggie? But I want you guys going through your business plan. Right, we talked about it before convention, and I told you when you leave convention, you're gonna update this stuff, right? But start getting clear on things. How many people are gonna take the Wolt Bowl? You know, are you gonna build this thing? You know, are you really gonna, you know, really commit and get this thing going? And if you are, you have time, you have time. Okay, hey, I have 3 hours this day. Okay, well, what are you gonna get, how are you gonna be the most productive during those 3 hours? You're gonna spend maybe an hour prospecting, you're gonna spend an hour making calls, right? And then maybe an hour on an appointment. Or you're just gonna go walk around the mall, not talk to anyone for 2.5 hours and go, well, I just, this and that, Rhonda's laughing, that's not a good thing. Sound familiar? No, I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, it's.
It was hot.
Right? We used to hear it all the time, right? Hey, what'd you do in the last hour? Like some people go, oh, what did I do today? No, what'd you do in the last hour to grow your business? If you took an assessment every hour, how productive would you be in your business or in your life? If you really took assessment, like what did I do each and every hour of every single day? On the working hours. If it's time to hang out, it's time to hang out. If it's time to work, be the most productive you could be in that hour, the 3 hours that you're working. and then commit more. Hey, I can only do 3 hours, man, you know what, wake up an hour. Someone said if you wake up an hour earlier, you know, you wake up an hour earlier every day. Is it an hour earlier or 2 hours?
1
It's
hour.
1 hour?
1 hour.
I forget what the number was. It was like 70 something hours in a month or whatever it is. And it ends up being like, or in a week, I think it's like 70 hours, or I think it's an hour or 2 extra. I forget the numbers, but it was fresh in my head. I was doing my walk, whatever, and I was breaking it down. And it ended up being like an extra month out of every year. Like getting up earlier, being more productive, just more productive in a day. It ends up being like a whole extra month out of a year.
So
There's only 12 months in a year,
yeah.
right? Imagine getting an extra productive month out of waking up an hour or 2 earlier.
It'd be 2 hours.
It's 2 hours.
1 hour is 15 extra days,
Okay.
basically.
1 hour earlier is 15 extra days. So you do 2 hours earlier, so you normally, I get up at 7 o'clock, or you get up at 5, you gain a whole month, right? Because let's be real, what some people take in a year to do, you can do in 6 months. What some people take 6 months to do, you can do in 3 months. What people take 3 months to do, you can do in 1 month. What people take 1 month to do, you could do in 1 week. What takes some people 1 week to do, you could do in 1 day. And what some people would take 1 day, you could do in 1 hour. Think about it. Hey, I made 50 calls today. Like, dude, I made 50 calls like in an hour. And then I did this, and then I did that, and then I did this. Oh my God, like, right? Like, holy cow, how is it so productive? Because you're disciplined, and you have a schedule, and you have a focus, you have a purpose, you know what you want. You have clarity. And as I say this, yes, I'm human, I'm talking to myself too. Can I be more productive? Of course, we all can. Right? Sometimes I get more out of these talks by speaking to you, because sometimes the teacher learns more than the students. Like, think about like a professor, they teach 6 classes a day or whatever it is, they tell the same thing to 6 different times. They're internalizing this thing, right? That's why it's your job to take your notes and take your stuff that you're learning and start to implement these things and start to get good. They say closed mouths don't get fed, so we gotta talk to people. It's a contact sport, right?
Yeah.
All right, you guys, that's all I got. Hopefully you guys got some value out of this, and let's take some voting.